Hi, Teri here from Stamping Magic. Welcome back to my channel. Today's project is a Christmas card. I've used the Gnome For The Holidays stamp set together with paper from the Heartwarming Hugs Designer Series paper pack, and I've created a Sunburst card. So let's get started. These are all the measurements you need for all the elements required to create this project. So if you're interested in reproducing it, take a screenshot so you can refer to it later. I have several strips of the Heartwarming Hugs Designer Series paper here. Now these vary in designs and they're all double-sided. I'm going to decide on what designs and the order I'm going to have them in later on. Now these measure approximately 4 centimetres by 15 centimetres, which is about 1.5 inches by 6 inches. Mine are all the same size, but you don't have to have them that way. You can have them narrower, wider. You can use some that are shorter, but you will need others that are about 6 inches long. Each of these strips needs to be cut in half diagonally. So I'm going to go from the top right to the bottom left, but you can go the other way, it makes no difference. It's entirely up to you how many strips of paper you use and how many different designs. The sunburst effect looks really nice with just 2 different designs of paper. I've decided on which designs I'm going to use and the order I'm going to place them. Now I'm going to use a mat of Whisper White cardstock to place these on. This is slightly bigger than I'll need for my final card, but I'll cut it down later so I've got nice clean edges. Now I need to work out how each of these strips is going to be placed on the Whisper White mat. And I'm going to add just a tiny piece of temporary adhesive just to keep them in place as I move up the mat. Now the first one I'm placing straight on the bottom edge of my mat, and then I can start the angle. Now you want to make sure at all times all your edges are covered, apart from that bottom right corner where I'm going to have the part circle. And that's worked out quite well. All the edges are covered. Just flip it over on the back and you should be able to see Designer Series paper all the way round the 3 sides that are important. Now I'm going to remove the first 2 strips and apply glue to my Whisper White mat, and then I can position those strips permanently. After that, I'm just going to remove 1 strip at a time until I've completed the whole panel. Then I can turn the panel over and cut all the excess paper away. I'm then going to use a guillotine to trim this down to the final size that I need this panel to be. This is the Gnome for the Holidays stamp set, and today I'm using this gnome and the Holly Jolly Everything sentiment. I'm going to stamp my gnome using Memento Tuxedo black ink. I'll be colouring using the Stamping Blend's alcohol markers, and then my sentiment will be stamped using Mossy Meadow ink. The gnome will be cut out by hand. The sentiment will be die cut, and this will be using one of the Stitched So Sweetly dies, the smallest one from this group. I've also die cut some circles. The Whisper White one was die cut using one of the Stitched Shapes circle dies, and this is the second size down. I've already gone ahead and embossed this circle, and I've used the Winter Snow embossing folder to do this. The Mossy Meadow scalloped circle, which will go under the white circle, has been die cut using one of the layering circle dies, and this is the third size down. The die cut circles can now be layered together, and then I can work out where I want everything else to go. You want to position the circle so that when you trim the excess away, it trims away the stitching in that bottom right corner. Otherwise it's going to look a bit odd. So you want to place the circle far enough down that when you trim it, that it'll trim away that stitching. But you want it large enough to hold the gnome. I want to position my sentiment next before the glue on the circle dries. I'm going to tuck the right edge under the circle and just make sure it's straight. Then I can turn the panel over and cut the excess circle away. My card base is in Mossy Meadow, and this is half a standard sheet of card scored in the middle and folded to create a portrait card. Then for inside the card I have a Whisper White mat, And I'm going to decorate this with a strip of real red cardstock, onto which I'm going to add a scrap piece of the Heartwarming Hugs Designer Series paper, and then I'll trim it down. And then I've got a real red mat that my Starburst panel is going to go on to. And that's it. My card is now complete. A super cute card. I have made just one more. Now for this one I used the Whale Done stamp set and some of the Whale of a Time 6-inch Designer Series paper pack. And I didn't use a die for the sentiment this time. I just cut a rectangle and then flagged to the end. So if you haven't got the Stitch So Sweetly dies, you can easily do it by hand. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Bye for now.